1, 2, 1, 2.
Booyaka.
That's right.
What?
It's always better the second time around.
You got some house music on?
Woo!
Can they hear what we hearing? This is
all right. Sound like the Metaverse.
Shout outs to Castro, Commissioner Castro.
What room am I in here?
The Metaverse.
What room am I in? No.
Yo, episode 4, we back.
That's
Uno,
right.
dos, tres, cuatro.
Yeah,
we in the place
back.
to be.
Understanding Podcast is here
Back
for the fourth
four
time.
more.
For the fourth time, episode number 4. We here,
Four and
the
counting.
greatest podcast in the entire universe.
The universe.
And the Metaverse.
Metaverse.
You know what I mean?
We should touch on that.
Yeah, we're going to touch on
Cosmos.
that.
All right, cool.
We here, man, back again. Over to my left, I got my main man.
What's up? My brother. Seth Static, a.k.a. The Point Man.
Oh, yeah.
What up, 518?
What's up?
Worldwide. My man, Knowledge over to my right.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Looking so handsome.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Far too kind.
that's right. Look at that.
This thing recording?
Sharp.
Oh, yeah.
Sharp.
It's knowledge, y'all. 1/3 of understanding. A.K.A. Lord Sovereign. O.K.A. the Cheshire Cat. Because if it don't matter where you're going, it don't matter how you get there. And front and center, man, let them know who you are. They should know by now, but...
Seth's Fifth is in the building.
What?
AKA Eternal Blackness, AKA the Architect, AKA the Great, AKA Imhotep,
Bars.
AKA Pharaoh, AKA. Nah, let me stop. I was gonna keep going.
shooting.
I was gonna keep going, but nah. Yo, what's up, world? We here, man. We are very excited to be back, man. Very, very excited to be back. But before we move on,
How you feeling? Feel all right?
Yeah.
what's
Feeling
going on?
good,
Understanding?
Feeling good. Hey, I'm feeling great, man. My born day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of us got a born day this past couple of days, so we all celebrating. Family, friends.
Make
You know
sure
what
y'all
I'm saying?
leave in the comments, man. Happy belated birthday to the two Sagittarius brothers right here. They
Sag
had birthdays.
season.
Word up.
Peace and love to all the Sagittarius worldwide. Whether you November or December, it don't matter. We shooting them arrows, baby. You know how it go.
Y'all the greatest sign or what?
You already know. We could kill or manipulate any other zodiac sign on the map.
Okay, I
What is
believe
Libras
you, bro. I'm
is a
with you.
scale. We got y'all. Scorpios getting stomped out.
Okay.
Taurus getting shot. Leo getting shot.
Watch out.
Yeah, they getting ran through. We love all y'all, but there is kind of, we definitely S tier.
I'm with what he said.
Zodiac.
My
Aquarius
brother.
gang.
I can't.
Aquarius
can't front.
gang.
Aquarius game. What's you not the
We
fish?
the,
That's
we, the,
fire.
we the water bearer.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
We an air sign, but we the water bearer.
No doubt. No
But
doubt.
yeah, yo, happy birthday to y'all, man. What did y'all
Thank
do?
you, man.
And just have fun with family, man. Fun
same
with
here.
family. A lot of surprises were strategized without my knowledge of them. No pun intended. And just enjoyed it. Enjoyed the weekend, man. Happy belated to you, Seth.
Yeah.
What you was
Likewise,
doing?
man. It was good to hear from everybody on my day, man. It's good encouragement, especially my understanding brothers.
Oh yeah.
You already know.
Yeah, had some food, you know what I'm saying? Celebrated with some peoples, man, good peoples. And getting to see my kids tonight. We're going to dinner. So, you
Peace.
can't beat
God
that.
bless Seth kids.
Yeah.
Sav kids.
Big ups.
Yeah.
How you feeling though, bro?
Feeling pretty good, man.
Okay.
Up and down week, but
Yeah.
you
sound a little,
a little nasally today,
Right.
man. I'm going through a little upper respiratory infection. It's not COVID.
Nah,
I get tested.
never that.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
Fighting
And
through it.
I'm beating it. Shout outs to the elderberry.
Don't say that word.
You know what I mean?
Say the cocoa.
Yeah, shout outs to the
cold-
the COVID,
The
COVID
co-editor,
monster.
co-worker.
But yeah, man, business, architecture work, TRUSIC work. We got some new releases coming out very soon from the gang. Young God Harmani, he's gonna be dropping.
Shout out.
He's dropping a whole EP. It's called Half Life. Can't wait to get that out, man. He's really, really dope, man. He got some joints. He
That's
can
what's
sing, he can rap, he can
Looking forward
dance.
to it.
Yeah. And I'm dropping a new joint. It's called Infinite Black. Yeah.
Infinite Black.
Infinite Black.
Yeah. It's a part of a compilation tape put together by Dr. Kaba and his son Haru. So it's going to feature some real conscious artists from around the nation.
No doubt.
Putting in work.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm looking forward to getting that out, as we talked about before, man. Countering the propaganda, you know what I mean? Counter programming. So that's what this whole project's about. That's what we do at TRUSIC, man.
Oh yeah,
True indeed.
You know what I mean?
gotta give you that red pill with the blue one.
Absolutely.
Already know.
We've had a lot of great influences, man. Public Enemy, X-Clan, Brand Nubian, Brothers
Right.
Bringing It, Poor Righteous Teachers. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think it's important that when we talk about conscious music and enlightened music, like this shit don't have to be boring and whack.
No,
bro.
no.
Like now we still lyrical, we still dope, the beat's still going knock, all of that.
Dead nice.
But it's just the content is not gonna be sex, drugs, money, murder. It's not gonna be the same propaganda. Y'all get fed. And if it is sex, drugs, money, murder, it's flipped in such a creative way that you're gonna get something out of it.
It's gonna be high level. It's holistic. It's
Shit.
holistic.
That's it. So without further ado, man, let's get into the
Okay.
the first topic, man.
What is it? What is it?
What we got? We got in the menu.
Ghostwriting. Do you respect it, or is it a violation of the MC code? What do y'all think?
Violation.
It's a violation.
Violation. It's
In
red
the
flag,
in
red
the
flag.
underground world, it's a violation. In the world of being authentic, and you coming to the table with, hey, this is me, this is mine. I'm the best. I'm the dopest. I'm the stellar artist. You have to have it in your pen,
Right.
coming from you.
Right.
But on a
No
larger
exceptions.
level, you could be an artist on a worldwide stage and have people writing your stuff, and it's like they're not in the realm that we come from or we congregate in. So I can't even judge it. Is it? You know what I mean? Let them do what they do. Let them do what they do. Go ahead and get your ghostwriters up.
Right.
Get that publishing up. You're gonna pay somebody.
Yeah.
But when you come to the cipher, it's got to be you.
Right. That was the real official. You said that before. Like, you can't come to the cipher with somebody else's rhymes.
Period.
So I think as an MC, like a part of being an MC, a thoroughbred, and it's definitely a generational thing too. Because nowadays it seems like the young heads don't really care. I mean the young fans, get
They
the
don't.
artists. The
They
fans don't care who wrote it, and
I
that's
think-
sad because I feel like some of the older fans, it's like they look at you like, did he write this? And if they found out you didn't write it, you get a little asterisk next to your name.
I don't think fans care who writes though, in general, like all the way through. Like I think underground artists, like
Right,
Yeah.
maybe because I'm an MC. I mean,
like
Fans.
MCs, like
Fans don't.
Yeah, fans don't really care.
Fans, short for fanatic.
yeah, they don't really
If
care.
you're just buying a product, you don't care about
They
that.
don't
But
care.
if you're a part of the culture, it's
So
completely
then
different thing.
why was there such a big backlash for Milli Vanilli then?
Vanilli Vanilli?
They didn't even have their
Because
own
Milli
voices.
Vanilli wasn't. Forget writing.
They was
They
was
was-
lip syncing.
Girl, you know it's girl.
Somebody
you
else
know
is-
it's-
Right, so
You-
all
they
I'm
got,
saying
they was
is-
at the concert, got caught. It got
was
stuck
crazy.
like 12 times.
That was ghostwriting and perpetrating at the same time.
Man,
But
they
what I'm
was
saying
stunt
is, fans, I think, appreciate some sort of authenticity in their artists. So if you find out the song that you listen to day in and day out, and you love that artist for that song, and it sounds so personal, like the artist was going through what you're going through, so you fell in love with, or you gained an attachment to that artist because you felt like the words that they were writing in that song you really related to. Now when you hear like, yo, and then they get on the interviews and talk about the songs too, they go,
right.
Oh yeah, I wrote this.
Yeah,
and
right.
I wrote this when
Right.
I was
Right.
on
Black-
vacation.
black-
I was
Blasphemy.
going through blah blah blah, and then you
Blasphemy.
find out, yo, this person didn't even write it. I
Right.
feel like that's kind of like
Tay wrote it.
Right. Yeah, my cousin in the back wrote
Right.
it, and he's not nowhere on the credits.
Yeah.
None of that. So I feel like that's when it becomes a problem. And as I said this before, I understand when you are a big ass brand doing media, TV, you all over the place. You may not have time to sit in the booth and write. So I understand you got so many people depending on you. Your business is so big. Labels depending on you. Your family depending on you. You got security. You got all of
Do
these
what you gotta
things
do.
in works.
You're a business.
You can't fail. You're
Yeah.
too big to fail. So you can't come with a whack song now.
So
You feel me?
So ghostwriting is not looked down upon in any genre besides like the more MC type realms. Period.
Hip hop. Don't
I
call
mean-
yourself the greatest. But yeah, go ahead now.
They will.
Cultural. It's all cultural.
Mm-hmm.
You a member of the culture, you know what's up. It's a debacle. It's a mockery. It's a fraud. It's a phony.
Mm-hmm.
Can't, like, if I watch Bruce Lee do a crescent kick 360, I want to know that he can do that in real life. It's the same thing with our culture. We see you, like you said, you step in the cypher, you step on stage, you battle, you get on that track. We want to see what skills you are proficient in, but that's cultural.
That's the standard.
If you're just a fan, you don't care. If it sounds good, that's all you focus on. So those are the two different kind of categories. But I mean, as far as industry, hey, I don't know. It's different. We're not R&B artists. You know, the focus is not on our vocal range and our vocal ability. It's on our ability to put literary mechanics together and execute, memorization, those types of things. So the values are different.
No standard.
So what if somebody wrote a hook and
Is it rapped?
they came through?
Is the hook rapped? Is the hook rapped? Is the person writing the hook rapping for another rapper?
Maybe he's sing-songy rappy.
Nah,
If he's harmonizing,
A little harmony, but it's rap.
I don't care what it is.
Singing.
Ooh, I just
If,
want to bang.
if we're doing a song right now and
Yeah.
knowledge writes the hook, or you write the hook, or I write the hook, and we all say each other's hook, whatever, that is a form of ghostwriting. But we
accrue.
there's a way, yeah, we're
we
a crew,
accrue.
and we do it to an extent where it's like we're delivering a whole project. This is what we're doing. But we doing our own verses though. Like you were saying earlier, the meat of the song for MCs is the verse, and you have to write your own verse. Now I have no problem with reciting I've said hooks before that other MCs have written for the posse cut, whatever we doing. You know what I mean? And I think you and I were on a couple joints, knowledge with Masai. He wrote the hook, and we went in and just wrote. We rapped our pieces on the hook. So the superhero joint back in the day.
Action figures.
Yeah, so it's like
I contributed to that. I collaborated and contributed to that.
that hook. There we go. So if it's part of that, I'm cool with it.
I'm very careful with that G word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never took
So-
a bar from nobody. Bro.
Yeah.
We like samurai, bro. Like it's
straight up.
Can't nobody carry a sword for you. Can't nobody show
Yeah.
your skills for you as far as MCs are concerned. So it's like it would be. I don't know what we would say. I don't know how people would feel if they listened to Understanding album and found out that Cess wrote 80% of the verses and everything on it. We only contribute. See,
Shit, I wrote it all.
you see, yeah, but you wouldn't buy nothing from us moving forward if we carry this bravado of being so good and so great, and then you find out that it's all coming from the mind of Cess. 80% of it, we only contributed 2 verses off a 12-track album.
Unless we're on Jimmy Kimmel. And then everybody be like, yo, we good. Fans be like, yo, we good. We don't care who does it.
Hip hop
Like,
heads
you sound so good with that, though.
ain't trying to hear it.
We need a way, because this keeps coming up, Knowledge and Sev. We talk about the culture, and we talk about fans who are a part of the culture. We need a way, because ain't nobody else who's got power in hip-hop seem to be doing it. Like, how can we create a membership for this shit, man? Like, where people can now really be a part of the culture. I mean, maybe not a membership, but just a code, a set of standards that...
KRS One did it.
He did it, but
Temple of Hip Hop, and he had like membership cards and a whole bunch of stuff.
We need to get with KRS or something, man. Find a way
definitely.
to
But
do
see,
that,
that's the
because
thing.
it's like-
Everybody's not gonna agree, because even the stuff that he was doing, the hip hop gospel and all that, and the people he accredited,
hip-hopia.
the energy and the research he put into his kind of transliteration of hip hop history.
Right. It's pretty
something,
biased.
yeah. Like it's definitely something to salute to see somebody put that
Right.
amount of energy to it, because I couldn't do it. But then people who are around pre-KRS One or the same time as him, they won't agree on the people that he's shouting out in the
No, that's
the
some,
timeline.
That's definitely some super
So it's like,
narcissistic.
hey man,
movement.
who do we
Like,
get together? Who do
I
we
feel
get
it.
together to certify those things?
No, us. The culture just grows and grows, and it's like we always look at like the culture as just like being beyond. It's like, yo, we are the culture. Whatever we say it is and what we do, it is. We just keep on moving. And the bad parts are part of the culture as well. When we try to like put those, we have the elements that we talk about, you know what I mean? And we have that, but that's not the only thing that's part of the culture. So you just roll with the punches, man. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to evolve, you're going to hit certain strides and hit certain areas where you're not going to be comfortable with it. But
But again, holding the flagship down, like if you're part of hip hop, you have to have some type of standard.
Right.
I believe. You know what I mean? And ghostwriting is not allowed.
I think about like tribes and rites of passages. You know what I mean? Like hip hop needs something like that. Like if you call yourself an MC, you got to be able to do this, that, and that, and this. You know what I mean? if you call yourself a fan of hip hop or a hip hop head, if you will, you gotta know a certain thing about the foundations of it. You gotta appreciate authenticity.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? And creativity. You know, not to just, because I can see it being some old head shit too, where you don't understand what's happening with the newcomers, and they might have a different style. So it has to be something that can grow too, but at the same time, these standards and tenets have to be set in stone. You know what I mean? So that way we could really identify who's really with the culture.
Mm-hmm.
If not, everybody can say, "Oh, I like hip hop," and then like, okay, we'll name an album, and then they name something. You're like, "Yo, what?" Like,
yeah,
you don't know this, like.
Okay, yep. I mean, I think when I dialogue with certain people, man, I know how far to go with them, and I allow them into my personal hip hop space, if you will. And if they only know certain things, or they're only authentic with a certain level of interest, that's where the conversation stops. You know what I mean? It's like, are you an outsider looking inside the house of hip hop, or are you in it trying to like refurbish everything and make sure everything is kept well? I want to make sure everything is kept well. Right. I don't want to put a standard or a lock on the door like we can't let people in, but we do have to challenge people, have to test them to make sure everybody is proficient, especially when they want to occupy our space and tell us what hip hop is or isn't.
That's a fact. That's where it becomes an issue. You put the titles on yourself and you feel like you entitled and you want to be looked at a certain way and carried a certain way.
Right.
Hey, the proof is in the pudding. You got to put the work in. So that's when it becomes an issue with me. Outside of that, if it's just pure industry, cool. We can put that to the side. The whole ghostwriting mechanic might be a good strategy as far as like the publishing and the rap economics, so to speak. So bigger brand artists, bigger named artists can kind of, okay, you don't got your business situated. You don't know how to do this. Let me help you get your publishing and everything situated, have you write songs for me. I'm the conduit or the catalyst. I'll use your material, bring you to a bigger platform, getting you in these good spaces. You can write for more and more people, and then we build a network that's a conglomerate. You know what I'm saying? We got solidarity with one another. So when we move within the business, we got more collective power. I'm with it on that end.
Right.
But on an individual hip hop culture level, I can't really go for that. Can't really go for that. But then I think about it.
I mean, it's like going to a restaurant, bro, and you order something from the cook, and he has to order from somebody else to prepare it for you.
Right.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's cool. We don't. Would that flip your wig?
Right. I'm like, wait a minute, what? We ordered it from you, and you ordered it from somebody else and delivered it through us. Right. I mean, delivered it through you, we're thinking that it's coming from you.
You order a slice of pizza, they go in the back, go to the pizza shop right behind.
Pizza Hut, ordering from Domino's,
there we go.
Ordering from Papa John's to get you. Like, yo, you a chef, ain't you? But then again, I think of it though, how many would hip hop have suffered if we took all the ghostwriters and the products of ghostwriters away from hip hop? Do you think it would have suffered anyway? Because there's a lot of good music.
I'm gonna say, yeah, bro. We're gonna lose a lot.
Hip to the hip.
We lose a lot.
Start out with a ghostwriter.
Rappers Delight. Well, Rappers Delight with Grandmaster Caz.
We lose half the story of hip hop. And if you ain't got the foundation, where do you begin from that? It's wild, bro. Think about that. You're going down a long rabbit hole. Like Mr. Moore said, who would you write for if you had an opportunity? Whether it be an established artist or, like you said, knowledge, an artist that's in your network, in your circle that you want to push along. You know what I mean? And then how do you validate ghostwriting at that point when we just said you ain't real, you're not authentic if you're not doing your own material?
You know, if you're not doing your own material,
what a paradox.
Yeah, it's okay if you're not doing your own material, but just own up to it.
Oh.
You know, include on your credits who actually wrote it. Don't sit here and run around and act like you was the, original mind.
Don't fake the funk.
Nobody cares about
song. Nobody
cares anymore about reading credits. They don't open up. They don't have nothing to open up anymore, bro. We for real in the metaverse already. You know what I'm saying? Not to jump the gun, but there is no more shout outs. There is no more produced by pamphlets to
I
open
remember
up.
that.
Well, I check that out though, because I got titles. So whenever I'm listening to a song, sometimes I do. Shit, I even check the engineer who engineered it. I mean, because y'all know I engineer, so that's something that's important.
But your brain, you see what I'm saying?
Yes, you are a peculiar piece.
You care about the things that are related to the craft or the many different crafts that you're proficient in or
100%.
trying to become proficient in. You want to know what all that had. Like if you a cameraman, you want to know who took that shot. If you a fight choreographer, you want to know who arranged that scene in the
Give the
Matrix.
credit. Give the
But
credit.
if you just a casual fan, like we said, and you're not particularly proficient in a skill, it's a more likelihood that you don't care that much about it in depth. So you know.
You're right.
Definitely respect the artists that take their time. The Kendricks, the Hoves, Jay Electronica. He got a lot of flack for taking his time with the art and music.
Take your time with it.
I respect the people that take their time and actually put their own thoughts, creative ideas, and then not just thoughts and creative ideas, but they try to actually add something to the culture of hip hop. You know, I appreciate how every time Kendrick drops, it's something new. It's like pushing the culture forward, as opposed to just regurgitating what's already hot. That's what I feel like a lot of artists do. They're just trying to stay relevant. They're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and so your music sounds like what's already out there, as opposed to taking a step back, finding out what's really important to you, what sounds and songs you really like to make, what concepts and ideas you want to bring forth to the world, and then bring that out. And if it does sound like some of that stuff that's out there, okay. But make sure it's coming from a genuine, authentic place, and not just you trying to keep up with the industry. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Yo, when you in the industry, bro, doing what you got to do to stay on top. You got people out there stealing whole songs from independent artists that are out there blowing up regionally.
That's a fact.
Like Childish Gambino, Drake, they've all been, you know what I mean? Like, hey, they stole my song, and they just paying them for the song.
Right. I heard that with comedians too, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some big comedians will send their people out into these comedy clubs, hear jokes from
Steal
these up and
material
coming
all day.
artists, and then take it back and then implement it in their own stand up specials and stuff.
Hey, underpay you to borrow a bit and then blow up off of it.
Right.
They known
The
for
Chappelle
it.
joint. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Joe Rogan points out a bunch of people like that, bro. Like if you a comedian out there stealing from other cats, he puts them on blast.
Hey, and that becomes a culture within itself. So it's like, yo, if you're in the music industry, you got stole from. So it's like, all right, when I get the opportunity and I'm on the right, if I got enough power, enough opportunity, I'm steal from somebody else because it got done for me.
But it's rare to see like the thief in that industry like really get excommunicated. They just stay working.
Hey,
You know,
it's consumerism. Man.
I'm not saying cancel culture should be co-signed on that level. I'm not saying to get yours, get your money, stay in the game.
Right. Isn't there a saying like the greatest artists are the greatest thieves or something like that?
I've heard something like
I've
that
heard
before.
that notion in itself. Like
'cause
what is inspiration?
Right.
If you're inspired by somebody, are you stealing from them?
Right.
Borrowing?
Yeah, I have an issue with that because even in rap, when it comes to lyricists, you got certain people. Every other bar out of their mouth is somebody else's bar. So it's
Just flipped.
I don't have no references per se, or you ain't got no proof of nobody sending me a song, but I got a good percentage of bars that I'm saying from somebody that's deceased or somebody else that you know, and I just tell you, oh no, I'm just paying homage.
Yeah, they came at Hove about that for using big lines
Hey,
in a lot
man.
of his songs.
The biggest homage I feel like you can pay is paying some
Right.
publishing.
Some
like,
publishing.
I don't
That too.
wanna hear,
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah.
don't want to hear all that, oh, I'm paying homage and all that. Listen, when people hear that bar from you, that generations from now that's not going to know the person that you got it from, and you know who you got it from, are you taking care of that person's family?
Right.
Right.
Putting money back into the estate.
Hey, man, it shows. It shows, man.
At least own up to it if you're asked about it. That's what I feel like. Yo, you could do whatever you want. Just be honest about it. Don't front like you the greatest. Don't front like this is all you. If you know you got a ghostwriter, if you know you stealing and borrowing from other people. You know, I respect people who write books and say, yeah, like a lot of this book, I've researched a lot of this information from this book, and another book. Like, you know what I mean? You pulling it all together and
Cite
you may
your
have
sources.
your own conjecture. Yeah, you cite your sources. You have your own conjecture, but it was drawn from other places. And at the end of the day, everything we use is drawn from other places. You know what I mean? Literally everything around us was a human thought, and then somebody else built upon it, and before you know it, you know, we're
became
using
something.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think that's a good segue to our next topic.
What is our next
What is the
topic?
next time?
Because I don't think I'm prepared to talk about what you about to talk about.
The Metaverse. what the hell are we getting into?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Is it a good or bad thing? The metaverse. We definitely want y'all to leave a comment about that. But
the metaverse is Skynet.
Can be.
The metaverse is the Matrix. You could say it's that. Literally the movie The Matrix. Like, what are we getting into, man? Is it good or bad? Let's start with.
I don't know if you can you judge it on that level? Is it that extreme, like good or bad? I mean, I've heard some top people on online. Their opinions of it are like Elon Musk was like, nah, we don't. I'm telling you, I'm warning you, don't get into this. But he's actually in it on a level now where he's trying to say, hey, this is a healthier way to be a part of it.
So let's talk about what the metaverse actually is.
Sure.
So
you got a description?
Right. So we know the first version of the web 1.0,
mm-hmm.
that was like AOL. That was the ability to just be able to access the internet. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you had 2.0, mm-hmm. which is a YouTube, a Facebook, social media. WordPress, social media, where not only can you access the internet, but you could input your own information into the internet and other people can see it and you can talk back and forth.
And it's controlled and it's manipulated and fed back to us. That's what we kind of have now.
We have no ownership of that.
Right,
that's very important about Web 2.0. And that's what separates it from this new Web 3.0, which includes the metaverse, where all the users actually have a stake in whatever platform. So there's something like Decentraland.
Yes.
Where the users of Decentraland, which is this virtual world similar to like The Sims or something like that, you could actually own real estate. You could purchase real estate. You can design it and do whatever you want in it. And all the users of it have control over what happens with the land. They have this DTube is like a decentralized tube, which is sort of like YouTube, except you get paid from all of the views. It's not like you gotta, be under YouTube's wing and follow a bunch of guidelines. Like, no, if you're a creator and you're putting videos into this DTube, you actually get a percentage of the total money that the DTube makes.
Got you. Is it digital? Is it digital money?
It's all crypto.
It's all crypto.
So
cryptocurrency.
It goes in different.
Here we go.
Yeah. So you got to talk about crypto. Crypto is a digital asset where you can buy goods and services.
Is it an asset?
It's
Depends
basically
on the kind.
It's a digital money, if you will.
Digital money. Yeah.
Which could be used to buy assets within it.
I can only speak on this from a surface level.
Okay.
And so if we're gonna go deep, I'm gonna listen.
And I think we should right.
I'm gonna listen, bro.
I could go real deep, but I think let's table the crypto end of it, the NFT end of it to another episode. And let's just stick into the metaverse. Okay. So we saw that in October. My man Zuckerberg came through and said, "Yo,
you ready?
Yo, man, y'all trying to put cases on me? All right, well, we ain't Facebook no more. Oh, y'all talk about Facebook? Who Facebook? Right. We ain't Facebook no. We the metaverse. We Meta. So with that big announcement that Facebook is now called Meta, and his big spiel on how they're going to be focused on the quote unquote metaverse, that leads us into this question: what is the metaverse? How do we feel like it's going to affect us in the future? I mean, you think about what kids are going through with social media, suicide rates, the insecurities, the bullying, the materialism, the propaganda that's already used in social media. You know what I mean? It makes you wonder, like, okay, we're going to be in a virtual world now. Now we're going to have headsets on, and for anything to feel real, right? We got to just tap into our senses. You got your sight, you got sound, you got taste, you got touch, right? And you got hearing. So now they developed the haptic suits that wrap around you where you can feel things. They got the VR headset so you can see and you can hear. You know what I mean? Those three right there, just being able to feel, see, and hear, that changes your reality. Like, you are a part of that reality now. So I think it's going to be very scary for the youngins who already are very isolated. We know these Gen Zs, their interpersonal skills have suffered severely because of social media. So I can only imagine what's going to happen when they're completely engulfed in this world that they can touch and they can feel, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm with my brother. I'm with Brother Sav on this one. It's just it's a tool. It could be used for either or. I remember when MySpace and Facebook and all that was first introduced. It was a Pandora's box that everybody was waiting to crack open, that we thought would be nothing but great things. And it grew and it grew and it grew, and all types of other creatures flew out of that box that we can't put back in. So I feel like certain corporations, those are the people that scare me about it, because the concept of a metaverse, what is meta? Meta is beyond. Metaphysical, meta this, meta that, metaverse, beyond the universe, beyond your tangible, reality. We're going beyond that. We're going to tap into your mind. We're going to digital space. Everything is new. But when you leave that to corporations, I feel like they're just looking for the next frontier to let their greed unfold. You know what I'm saying? That it's a new place for us to capitalize and have real estate and run that and make this monopoly. It's a new place for us to promote this product and that product and have you caught up in it and all of that other stuff. I think if we left that out of it, was a way to bar that from it, I think it would be useful technology, like for people who may be disabled or birth defects and different things. By all means, I think it's dope to have technology that can tap into the mind and help people with their memory and learning things, or to conquer certain challenges that we have.
That's a great idea.
That's
bro.
beautiful. But that's the same thing as like nuclear energy or anything that we've ever produced over the last maybe 500 years. It's always that possibility of, okay, intention's great, but who's going to eventually dominate it, and what are they going to use it for?
Right.
I think aren't companies already buying space? Like Nike bought a whole bunch of space in the metaverse already.
I've heard stuff.
I think they just they extended their trademark to go into the metaverse. So the metaverse already exists with things like 2K or something. So now their trademark is going to extend into 2K, where you can get a specific, because in the metaverse you're going to have your own. What do you call them? The avatar.
You got to dress.
So you can change your avatar. You can be a dinosaur that wears these new Nikes that you actually had to pay for.
Right.
But they're one of one. They're NFT. You know what I mean? Right. So they belong to you and only you. So Nike did that. They trademarked it so that way they can extend their brand into the metaverse.
I'm just worried about the surveillance, man. You know how I get. I don't like cameras. I don't like cameras being too close up on me. I don't like people taking pictures without my permission. All that type of stuff. So you want to get into the metaverse. I mean, when we was on Facebook and all these other different things, we had no control over the fine print on the data that they would collect on you. And then who they were selling the data to, who they giving it to do more research on how to promote things and market things to you, how to play with you mentally, and how to create algorithms that can help sort this and sort that. And it's like you completely unaware of it, that you're being manipulated or exploited in any kind of way, because they doing all this stuff on a high level. So it's like, if they were doing that with this version, once we get to the metaverse, what kind of algorithms and all types of things are going to be at play? You got Messenger, you got WhatsApp, you got all these things that we use to communicate through. And the first thing I was thinking was like, yo, how do this look like a perfect way for them to get things on you, to get to the CIA and get to the feds and get to all these people who monitor you.
Inception. They want to figure out like your deepest secret or your deepest trigger, whether they want to get money from you or information from you. Like Inception times the Matrix. You know what I mean? In the Sims world. You could be whoever you want. It might even be like a test to see what you would do with superpowers.
Yes.
Yeah, because most good people would probably be Thanos in a heartbeat if they had superpowers to get away with something.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Being a Superman or being an Iron Man, like what would you do with those powers? And this metaverse might actually offer those opportunities up for people to go ahead and do that.
Because you are who you are when nobody's looking.
True indeed. And people think nobody's looking when you're online. People think ironically, they don't think people are looking when you're online. Like you talk junk online all the time. Keyboard warriors.
Yes.
And
you feel safe.
And it might come, you feel safe.
You feel safe.
Because nobody can check for you like that. But you ain't doing it in the real.
You think can't check it.
There we go.
But for the adept and the elite and the people who really on their P's and Q's, find that IP address, find this, find that, they know exactly who you are.
It's going to be what's after the metaverse is what's going to be the real deal.
I'm with you. With you, because I think people gonna got that same little false security and safety, and disassociation from realistic identity, and they're gonna do they're gonna play themselves out of pocket in the metaverse, and it's gonna find a way.
We've seen this stuff play out in like so many movies, so we've already had the trial and error of how people will receive it, and people love these things. And we've had movies come out recently specifically on like the metaverse type of a world. You come in with an avatar, being and doing what you want. You'll probably have like whole buildings of people in apartments by themselves.
People will eventually opt to be
in the real, and that's it, and disappear completely.
But I think that's why it's important for people like us, the righteous, need to get involved in the metaverse immediately. Because, you know, if you just think the future is always going to be dark and grim, then it is. But I gotta believe there's going to be people like us, righteous warriors, that if we get in on this new technology early, we can be able to set the standards for this new metaverse, because this is a new world. You know, a lot of people, I hear a lot of older people say like, oh, I'll never get into the metaverse. Well, okay, when they do a simulation of Malcolm X and you can sit right next to him in the metaverse and he can talk to you and give you advice on things, you're gonna be like, yo, I'm signing up tomorrow. You know, Marcus Garvey is sitting right there. Some of the greatest leaders in the thinking, when they can do a simulation of your ancestors, right? And you can go back into ancient Kemet and walk around and look at the pyramids in their full glory. You're gonna be like, yo, I'm in the metaverse now.
It's the convenience.
So we gotta find ways, and you know, I wrote some things down as far as like some of the good that can come out of the metaverse. You mentioned this before about mental health and people with disabilities. It would give them the ability to walk or experience things that they can't necessarily do now.
100%.
Literally,
I think in the medical field, you'll be able to practice some very complex surgeries. You know, things that you can't do now. Maybe we can figure out how to, you know, do surgery on intricate parts of the brain and newborns and stuff. You know what I mean? But you'll be in this simulated world where you can do that. Mental health wise, if you had PTSD, now they can recreate the scene that gave you the trauma, and you know, like once you're in this world, it's gonna feel real. You know, that 3D world makes it really, really real. Looking at things on a 2D space, that is, you know, you can learn from it. You know, at one point it was all written, and then it became video, and then we saw the difference, how kids and how people learn from the written to the visual. Some people are audio-visual learners. So now when you got the 3-dimensional space into it, that's going to create a memory, and that memory kind of creates that intelligence for you. It could change a lot as far as mental health. So I think treating people who have mental health issues, PTSD, that's going to be very powerful. Physical training for a track runner. I learned in The Secret how like they was like hooking up athletes to these machines, and they had them like close their eyes and like run a race, and like all their muscles were like firing. Like when they read their neurological pathways, like all of that stuff was hitting, boom, 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 as they were running the race in their mind. So imagine being able to run the race in the metaverse, you know, really see yourself and experience, so you can get to your optimal level, your peak efficiency. You know what I mean?
Imagine people like who are in comas. Right. Imagine we could do some study on that, if they could actually perceive the metaverse and try to like tap into the psyche a little bit, the unconscious, to see if they can actually experience the metaverse. Imagine that. There was
some Kenyans, or there was some country in Africa where these guys looked like they were in a shack, but they created this robotic arm that hooked up to and basically like hooked up to their brain waves, and they can control the arm through their brain waves. So I'm like, if somebody in the back alley of an African country can do this, I know they got the technology. They probably already controlling us right now through the phones.
They already got it.
Like if they can tap into your brain wave and you can control things, then somebody who is maybe unconscious,
these people in power
have that.
Maybe you can
tap in and then they can speak to their friends and family, even though their body, their physical is literally unconscious. I think about the movie, the Star Trek movie that came out, where they had the Vulcan kids. They were basically in like little cupcake looking.
They were in the training pits,
and all around them they had like a virtual world where, you know, imagine learning chemistry, math, and science, but you can actually be a cell. you can put this VR headset on, and now you're the cell. So you know with a nucleus and a ribosome and how your DNA, like our knowledge based on this technology is going to increase so much
Exponentially.
because we can actually be in the world and we could feel it. Now you can feel the heartbeat. You got the haptic suits on.
Mm-hmm.
One of the hardest things about the metaverse and just VR stuff, which I think they kind of addressed in that movie Ready Player One, was the space. Because we seen plenty of times on Instagram where somebody put a VR headset and they in their living room and they start boxing. Now they all of a sudden they punch the damn TV out.
Mm-hmm.
But now they came up with these like omnidirectional, like basically like omnidirectional, like
It's a platform,
treadmills.
and they got like a ball around you.
Like little treadmills. So you just strap into the joint.
Stay
You
right
got
there.
the haptic suit.
Just like Black Mirror.
Right. You
Yeah,
can walk
you're running
into
on a
this joint.
ball. You're
Right.
running on like some type of ball,
Right.
which is interesting.
Very interesting.
Have
So
your little Oculus Quest.
right,
Mhm.
right. So now you can move around in that joint. What else I wanted to say?
With it. What about cloning? I mean, you could. Ooh, that's next level. You be in the metaverse and start dealing with people who are cloning you,
Yeah.
and they send you to take you out. They send you to take you out.
Hackers ain't going nowhere.
Right. That's if we.
Woo.
Yeah. we
Hackers ain't going nowhere.
see, that's surrogate type stuff.
But then you also mentioned you can go into the metaverse possibly and see somebody like a Marcus Garvey. How do they set up their personalities? They take information, they put it in there with a code, and we won't even have to go into the metaverse with ourselves and our own knowledge. We can just download it and actually put in our personality and just have it press play or push.
Right.
But this is how deep it goes. What's the other thing that Elon Musk is developing? The Neuralink.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There's a gentleman, I watched a documentary of him, or a documentary that he was featured in. It was called Transcendent Man. This came out in the early 2000s. It was an inventor. His name was Ray Kurzweil. I think he's an engineer. He does work with Google now. But in that documentary in the early 2000s, well, what he's saying today is by 2030, everybody's going to be a cyborg. So with that, the cyborg thing, him and Elon Musk are alike because with the whole cyborg thing, it's transhumanism, where they believe that in order for us to stay on par with how crazy artificial intelligence is
AI.
going to be, we're going to have to upgrade and have machine parts in us to stay up to speed with them.
straight up.
Right.
So in that documentary that he was in, because he was afraid of dying, he has several health issues. He was in his mid 40s at the time, I believe, or late 40s, taking a bunch of pills every day, trying to stay alive, doing all these conferences. So he's working with all these lead engineers and scientists and mechanics and stuff all over the world, trying to figure out a way to upload his consciousness onto a hard drive,
Right.
to either put into his body if he goes in cryogenesis,
Like
or
Walt Disney.
yeah, or a clone body, or even an android. So a full out robot, but they can upload his personality, his memory, and all that stuff to it,
So you can live forever.
so he can live forever.
Right.
And that's the issue I have. But I'm gonna get to that later. What you said that kind of triggered me or startled me was when you said, all right, Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and all these different figures and icons, if they can find a way to upload people's consciousness that knew these people while they were living, they got even more data to develop some type of weird algorithm of what they would be or how they would be. If they can tap into people's memories who actually met the person and know the person.
And you can do that for yourself too. Like you wouldn't even have to exist as yourself. You can be whoever you want to be in this metaverse. Nobody would even know who you are. So, I mean, I don't even know what the value is in that, because you're just making pretend all day.
Right.
You're acting out all day. It's only like a version of you that's going to be in the metaverse. I mean,
robot.
we'll
But
see
they-
when
but
it
they
all
did-
gets here. You know what I mean?
They did like self-counseling studies where they had people like give advice to themselves, and then like years later when they were going through things, they played that same stuff back but just lowered the vocal pitch of it. And the study showed that you actually take advice from yourself a lot better than if you would go to like a therapist or something. You know what I mean? So you could literally have a clone of yourself in this metaverse talking to yourself. You know what I mean? You it's almost like a time capsule, except you can see yourself and be like, yo, what's going on, man? Remember this, stick to the goal. Like, imagine that, being able to see yourself and give yourself advice.
That's amazing. Great potential.
Yeah, even empathy, right? Like racism. Imagine if a cop was able to be in the body of a black person and understand what it felt like to be pulled over. You know what I mean?
Potential.
Maybe that may change the way a police officer would approach a black person, because they see like, damn, your heartbeat is racing, crazy thoughts and images start flashing in your mind of all the things that could potentially go wrong. That may change the way. What if you could experience childbirth as a man?
Yeah, but that's exactly what you said, Sess, and what Sev was saying. It's like, all right, you're gonna have to be a part of the people who create these things. If you're not at the table, so it's only one or two strategies. Either enough of you have to not be in it at all, so that it's not completely monopolized. They ain't got everybody in the metaverse.
Right.
Or you're gonna be one of the people who orchestrate giant institutions within the metaverse, because it's the same thing with AI algorithms. People was complaining, and I don't want to say their complaints weren't warranted, but the main thing we was just fighting them about was, okay, how many of us is in Tech Valley? How many of us are developing and putting our input into how AI would operate to be able to realize that you're a black person or an Asian person or a child?
Right.
Who's putting the input in so that,
or a woman.
other than that,
Right.
it would be the ultimate humanistic empathy connection. But I don't have faith that corporations are going to allow that. I think they're gonna always use it.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why the Web 3.0 is great, because we can be stakeholders in these corporations. It's not like Facebook, where you ain't got no control over what Mark Zuckerberg and his staff wants to do with Facebook or Meta. But with some of these newer platforms, you actually have a say so. There's like governance tokens where you could actually vote and put your opinion on where you want the world to go. It's like the people kind of create their own laws, and it's not owned by anybody. It's owned by the users. You know, so if enough of us are aware that this can happen, we need to get in on it early, so that way when changes are being made, we can make sure it's beneficial for our future kids. Because you know, shit, it's probably over for us. You know what I mean? But nah, it's not even gonna say that, because by the time we 40, this stuff is gonna be hitting.
It's gonna be
40, 50. 60s.
I'm just
you know
afraid
what I mean?
that
It's gonna be hitting.
I always
Thanks.
we got to do.
You're right,
look at you.
Real talk.
just
I'm like,
thought
hold
that.
on.
100%.
But we got to do risk analysis,
Right.
because I'm just worried about. I always got to calculate the risk and worry on whether or not something is going to be the carrot on the string. You know, the thing that lures you into it.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, that's the same thing with crypto to death. But if you ain't got the right wallet, if you ain't got the right security, if you ain't got the right things, you easily manipulated, easily scammed, easily taken advantage of. So if it's rolled out in a way where it's okay, you're gonna be in the metaverse, but you got to put this Neuralink chip in your medulla or get it in your frontal lobe, and then you buy that, the lure is, get this real estate, you have a say in this, you can vote on this. What's on the back end? Where if you're doing too much in the metaverse, they got something that's a kill switch where they can just zap your brain with the chip that you done installed. I'm worried about that type of stuff.
Right. It's one of those things, man, where, like I said, we gotta get on early, because
The world's gonna change.
If we don't,
I don't know.
then we're gonna leave it to these capitalist corporations to do whatever they want with it. So we have to. It sucks, because it's a change from us and what we know is life and how humans have lived on Earth for millennia. You know what I mean? But it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
Just like if you took this iPhone right now into early 2000s or the 90s right now, or if you brought this to the 60s, you will be a wizard. What? You got something in your hand that you could pull up all the information in the world, and you can videotape so it's gonna happen, man.
Burn them at the stake.
And so
100%.
right.
You got that? Put them up there.
Right. So it's one of those things where I just feel like it's important for us to embrace that this is like, these corporations are moving this way. And so we could either be last to the party, or we could learn right now what it takes to be involved and get in on the forefront, so that we are stakeholders and we have some say-so in this job.
100%. We got to compete. Where's our engineers at? Where's our neuroscientists, our programmers, our softwares? We need
protection.
Multi-metaverses, so to speak. It has to be some type of competition and checks and balances.
I think the language is already being implemented in the shows that we watch. You know what I'm saying? The language is already there. So seeds are being planted. The harvest is coming, but we might not be the ones accepting the harvest. We'll be the ones picking it. You know what I mean? For somebody else, it's like we gotta get in on from the ground up. You know what I mean? But these guys are putting in billions of dollars, bro. Billions of dollars, and we trying to make a little something by just putting thousands in. Competition,
or you just full out resist.
Your thousands now could be worth
maybe
millions in the
but their
future.
billions are gonna be worth.
That's true. That's
whatever
inevitable.
that is.
Right. But
So
it's
the
better.
fights-
It's better that your thousands is worth millions
100%.
10 years from now than your thousands being worth.
That's reasonable
pennies
to accept.
10 years from now.
That's reasonable to
like
accept.
crypto. We all got into Bitcoin in 2012, 2013. Shit, come on now. We all be up right now. You feel me?
We up though.
I don't know. This is gonna make me
We up.
We up.
This
We up.
metaverse stuff.
We up.
We ain't up.
We-
We ain't Bitcoin 2012, 2013 up. That's
alright.
maybe Sev is low key a millionaire.
True. This is gonna make me into an extremist. This whole metaverse stuff. I'm telling you, you're gonna see me. I'm
Morpheus.
shave my head bald. You're gonna see me on the news. I'm gonna have a small faction of people that want to stay in the real world and resist. It's gonna be the resistance.
Tinfoil hat.
Rebels,
All that. Call it what you want to.
rebels, bro. I'm with you.
We want to stay here. We don't want to Neuralink. We don't want to go to Mars.
I'm
we
with
don't
you.
take your blue chips and your iRobots and your droids. Take them with you to wherever planet you're going. We gonna stay here and we gonna fix Earth.
Right.
You go
with you.
someplace else.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about, man. The world is ever changing and it's changing faster and faster as we go. Especially AI. You talked about AI. I mean, think about this though. All right, here we go. I'm about to hit y'all right
Here we
now.
go. The resistance. Join the resistance.
What if we already are in the metaverse? What if this whole life that we're experiencing is a simulation right now? And when you die, you take the goddamn headset off and say, whoa, what a game.
That's what all major physicists and
They
theorists,
wish.
theorists
They want
are
that to be
already
true.
Think about
have
it.
already been debating.
Because we're already
Think about it.
creating other type of worlds like that in this world.
Right, and you think about how technology increases and you'll be able to store things in something the size of DNA. You got trillions and trillions of gigs in something as small as a DNA. So the servers, a server the size of this room might be able to support what we know as life.
I am ready for it.
I mean, I can't even handle this tea right now. It's got so much caffeine in it, bro. I'm
I'm
like
not ready for my life.
right
to
as
be
a rose
alive.
over here.
You know, you know
I
how
can
when
feel
you
it.
try to like hold your cough. The more you hold your cough,
It
the
just
more
makes it- yeah.
your head
worse
just
it
want to
be.
explode. That's how I feel right now. But yeah, man. Anything else on this topic? We can go on and on. I think this is going to be a reoccurring topic as things progress.
Because this is all going to be different next week.
Right.
Everything we just said is going to be null and void. Everything I just said is going to be null and void because I'm not in it like that.
Hit me up at
Come on.
knowledge is king. Join the resistance. Recruiting now.
My email's already sent, bro. So where we going? I'm with you.
Underground. That's where we go.
All right, we here then. We already here.
Demolition man, right?
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm already there, bro.
All right.
I know exactly what we got to do. At least a piece of it.
Yo, I'm not missing out on this next one.
What's the next one? What are we doing?
This next wave.
The
This
new
next
world.
wave
Oh,
of
okay.
technology. Like, especially as black people, we always want to join after it's already been popping now. Like, oh, work, Bitcoin is up to 50, 60,000. Now everybody getting Bitcoin. Like, nah, bro, we got to be early adopters. And especially if we want some sort of stake and control.
Preserving the culture.
Right.
Because somebody will come in and
Man, all we gotta do is
Exactly.
make our own coins, bro. That's what I'm
We're
trying
there.
to
That's
figure
what I'm
out.
saying. You
We're
can,
there.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
We could do that, bro.
Yes.
Because all of them, man, we just
Yeah.
make stuff poppin'. Elon Musk get on Saturday Night Live and talk about this. He say he named his dog this. Next thing you know, the coin is up. The coin is down.
Yeah.
All we do is contribute to culture. You know what I'm saying? If we make our own crypto coins and our own stuff, our own metaverses,
right there,
and make it poppin', y'all gonna want to come to our Blackiverse and our hip hop verse and all that. I'm with you, Seth. We just got to get the right people to build.
Yeah,
right.
I don't want to necessarily buy into their thing.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It scares me too because kids is already like suffering. You seen with the pandemic, like childhood obesity went up. Shit, even adulthood obesity went up.
Yeah.
So imagine sitting in the room having these headsets on all day. Like
you're gonna be like Wally.
It's gonna be like Wally. Yeah. Everybody gonna be just sitting around, just being
drinking shakes,
chauffeured everywhere. Right.
Great potential.
Every convenience that we have now to live in like this selfish world is already there. We already use it. Uber Eats, everything's delivered. Groceries, you know what I'm saying? DoorDash, all that. So you ain't gotta leave the house.
What more do you want?
Why would you when you can be Superman in the metaverse? Why would you come back to the real world and just be you? If you are not impressed by you.
Scary.
That's the dark side.
That's the dark side. That's scary.
It causes a lot of dysfunction. What's gonna happen when you go to the metaverse and you, like you said, you Emperor, Superman, Kryptonite, all of that, and then your bill get cut, and you no longer have entry to the metaverse, and now you left out here. Once you got addicted to how you live your lifestyle on there, and you back here, what kind of dysfunction will it create?
Oh, it's gonna be like the stock exchange, bro. People jumping off buildings.
That's a fact.
And people breaking in your joint, stealing your internet and all that. They're gonna have you hostage.
Yeah.
Meta hack, bro.
Oh, I'm telling you, they're gonna implement all of that.
Maybe we can get rid of racism in the metaverse.
No, because racism
here to stay.
Because I think classism is still going to exist, but racism, if I'm a orange frog in a metaverse, you're not going to know what the hell I am. I can change my voice. You seen in Ready Player One, the big dude was actually a black woman. You know what I mean? So a lot of that may change, but it's going to be a new dynamic.
I don't know. I mean, they beating up all types of people in these video games. They shooting babies in the video games, and they got it's people want to do what they want to do in these damn places because there's no consequences in the real world. What kind of a law can we set in the metaverse? There's not going to be any quote unquote consciousness of like positivity or civility. Nothing. We'll
have meta rules. There will be meta policy.
Really?
The pedophile.
Everything's going to be available, bro.
Those things will be developed because it's a new wave of existence is going to bring a new age of solutions and problems, and we're going to have new age laws.
I can't even speculate on what it's going to be because we ain't even there yet.
Yeah,
we're trying to put like real world filters on something that's not fathomable right now.
I'm just Ezekiel trying to explain what I saw
with the wheel.
That's
I'm with you. I feel you.
I don't have.
I'm right there with you, bro.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
You're on a runaway train, man.
And when they left, it looked like stretched crystal. I'm gonna be on the ground when they leave. So bye.
You ain't going on the mothership?
I would in a heartbeat. I'm ready to go.
Stop.
In a heartbeat, I'm ready.
I ain't going.
If I see anything come down, listen. If I hear a growl, I'm in the opposite direction of anything.
What if it's
a UFO to come down?
What if it's the elite? And they just looking for people that want to go, so
they are already elite. They showed up in a UFO,
and they gonna send you right to the sun. Everybody like,
I don't care.
We leaving Earth, and then
I get you. It could
population
be
control.
It could be
one-way trip to the sun, my dude.
It could be. You're right. It could be, but I would take that chance. I would hop on a spaceship in a second. I've been waiting for it all my life. Been looking up for it all my life. I'm here, ready. Where you at?
I ain't mad at
Planet
you.
Black.
Where you at? I'm with it. I'm gonna be Buck Rogers, bro. Luke Skywalker.
I like that.
I'm with it. Star Killer. That's me.
Oh man,
bring it.
Interesting topic. We definitely will touch back on this as things progress. Make sure y'all leave in the comments what's your thoughts on the metaverse. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How do you feel about it? Are you looking forward to it? You know, any ideas y'all have? Let's come up with the positive programming for the metaverse. What can we do? How does TRUSIC function in the metaverse? What can we put forth to the world to ensure that it's not going to be doomsday when a kid puts that on and they never going to want to leave and come outside, and they're going to have to just take pills all day to eat because they never going to want to fucking overeat.
They do it now, bro.
Here's a pill I'm going to take. I'm going to
go
go into my
now.
metaverse.
Xbox.
And that's it. Exactly. So how can we control this? Right now, it's early. it's early, bro, and there's ways for us to get involved. So we have to.
Getting involved, yes, I agree.
Connect with us. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We gotta figure it out.
All right. So let's move to this last topic, man. That was fun. That was a fun topic. This next one is. Let's see how we word this one. What does it mean to be masculine?
Masculine.
What does it mean to be an alpha male?
Are they the same thing? Is that what we're saying?
Can't be.
Let's get into it.
Alpha male.
What's an alpha male?
I think there's a lot of different versions of like what an alpha male is. I would just take the whole title off the board. There's so many different levels. Who'd want to be an alpha male? If you say you're an alpha male, you might not be an alpha male.
Might not be.
It's kind of like saying, yo, I'm humble or I'm handsome. It's like, really? Like, just let it be what it is. Like,
right.
If you're rich, people will find out that I'm a giving person. I'm forgiving. It's like, you don't have to say it if you already it.
You got to self-promote. See, I'm with you, Sam.
Yeah.
A bunch of people, you want to be the president. I don't think you fit to be the president.
Right.
You that want to be the president.
Same exact notion.
Leadership.
Oh, you want to be the leader? Or I want to be the president? That's not the one. We've seen that so many times over and over. And I'm like, it's just a toxic thing to actually aspire to be. Like that pedestal got serious consequences, and it's gonna cost you, because you might not get to where you want to be at as an alpha male. I mean, if you want to be an alpha male, cool. I'm not gonna call you an alpha male. I'll call you sir. I'll call you mister. But for them to be an alpha male, what they're saying is, hey, I have an ego. I have an opinion. I'm about movement. I'm about this. I stand on my own too. A lot of these people, a lot of these men still live at home with their parents.
So is that an alpha male or is that a toxic male? Like, I feel like you can still be a person like, all right, let's define what an alpha male is, right?
They welcome challenge.
Somebody who's
have high ambitions.
High ambition. They may be successful. They may be a leader.
Leadership quality.
They're a provider, protector.
Right.
They're very self-confident, self-assured.
Dominant.
They dominate.
Dominant.
Right.
They dominate.
They get all the mates. They kill all the competition.
Right. And a lot of this does come from the wild.
That's why I don't mess with it. Like I can tell you what an alpha wolf would look like, or an alpha lion, or these different animals and species within their habitat. But when you're talking about human beings, like I'm not.
Then you go down
way more complex than that.
Yeah, way more complex, because then you talk about like the survival of the fittest.
Right.
You know, the fittest of what, physically or mentally? Because we all know that's a game changer when you sleep on people who are not as like fighting. They always say the big guy's gonna win. Well, guess what? You ever see jiu-jitsu? It's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But you can be a mentor, you can be a father, you can be a brother, and you can still be a quote unquote alpha male. Just somebody who is in charge of your own surroundings. Being accountable makes you an alpha male. Being responsible makes you an alpha male. Not being a deadbeat dad makes you a quote unquote alpha male.
There we go.
I heard somebody on the internet said that you're not an alpha male if you don't pay all the bills in your household.
Are we going here?
And on that level,
agree with that?
I don't. If they agree with it, then it's true. If you pay all the bills in your house, cool. You doing your thing. That's an alpha male.
God bless you.
That's an alpha male.
But if somebody's not doing that, can they still be considered an alpha male?
And by their definition, no. But are they contributing in other ways? Are they taking care of the household? Not financially, but are they taking care of the kids? Are they providing education? Are they providing with their mate? You know what I mean? On a personal level. That's a whole nother level of giving towards a movement. If you're talking about a household.
Right. And I think a lot of these stereotypes, you know, they come from a sexist point of view.
Alpha male.
You know what I mean? Right.
Men make up all types of stuff to be
and not
Superman.
all males are alphas, if you will. You know what I mean? It's very exclusionary, and I think there's some women that can exhibit these same traits.
They have and I believe they've earned it because they actually deliver babies.
Right. Straight
you know
up.
what I mean? Men came up with the idea of having a cape to look bigger.
Right.
To be this grand feature. They come up with all these grand names and titles.
Peacock syndrome.
It's definitely something that happens with men naturally. And we have to deal with that and be accountable for that bull crap every time we come up with something that oppresses another person. And we're the ones that come up with that. The male is the head of the household. I'm not saying that can't be the case, but when you talk about like this is the way it is for every
it's not going to work. Every rule.
Yeah, and it's about balance too.
Right.
Bingo.
Definitely about balance. You know, I think this is a very tricky subject. Very, very tricky. I think you definitely have to remove ego, you know, because at the end of the day, like I said, a lot of these are stereotypes that are thrown around, but they're not necessarily based on anything that's real true. Like, I think, okay, being masculine, right? I think that does describe strength and courage. And I think if you lined up 100 people and you asked them, what is masculine? What does that mean? Strength, courage, you know, somebody who's a provider, protector. They may name those things. Not to say a woman can't be that, but that's what you would name under, you know, the term masculine.
The lineage of like what an alpha male is and how they define how they move within that title, and specifically in their own individual context, whether you be a father, whether you be a brother or just a friend,
right,
or just a leader. And when you are a person who is in a leadership position, you should be inviting collaborative efforts,
right,
co-lead. But the alpha male, the toxic alpha male, doesn't want that. They want the props off of themselves. They say, I'm better than this, I'm better than that, I'm taking over, I'm dominant. They come in very aggressively with a large ego, and it's unhealthy, it's toxic. And if you bring those people in your circle, what you're trying to achieve is not going to be achieved. They will dominate you, and they will try and take it over. That's the alpha male version that I've seen quite a bit from men who talk about what an alpha male is, and they try to live by that. This is coming from the same people who don't own their own home, who don't have their own cars. You know what I mean? They've had things given to them. They have a boss. They sleeping in somebody else's house, under somebody else's roof. You know what I mean?
And not to say even that. Like,
right.
We got to deconstruct these things. I don't 100%. Know who. I'm only a certain age. I belong to a specific generation range. These things vary from community to community, from culture to culture, from generation to generation. So it's like, all right, when you say leadership or you say a leader, to what degree, in what area? I can't say the only thing I've come, and when I strip it down to bare bones, masculinity, femininity, I can only, or what you call alpha, I can only attribute it to accountability in a male form. Are you responsible? Are you accountable? For me to call you a man, you have to have that. For me to call you a woman, you have to have that. It can express itself in many forms. I can't say, well, you don't own your own house, you don't own your own car. That's not the only thing to being a human. That's not the only thing to being a man or a leader. Right. So there's a lot of different tenets, like you were saying, Sev, with, all right, if we're a collective and we're a family unit, how do you contribute to your household? How do you lead your household? What's people's leadership style? Some people think leadership is dominance over aggression.
Right.
What I say goes. Some people think, no, it's more collaborative. I conjoin with people. I'm not the best at any one particular thing. So what I do is I get the best of everyone together, and then I help to unify that and balance, and then direct whatever we're trying to direct all those talents towards an objective. Some people think that's a leadership style. So it's like, all right, the whole alpha thing, I throw it out the window, man. I don't know what it is. I only know being accountable as a man.
Right.
That's it. I'm with you on that.
That's the
I
only
definitely
thing
agree.
Everything you just
definitely
said.
Different leadership styles. You know, Jordan versus LeBron type shit. Jordan, they looked at Jordan as being a little selfish. He was the dominant force. You know, there's no I in team, but there's a win.
There's an I in win.
You know what I mean?
There's an I in
There's an I in a win.
What's the perspective?
Right.
What's the goal?
As opposed to a LeBron who, he's very dominant when he's on the court, but he also can defer leadership. He also is a team player and makes other people around him better. So it's like, you know, who's the better leader? If everybody around you is getting better and we winning versus everything's about me and we're winning, but I'm getting the only accolade.
It's a style. It's a style preference. It's a style preference. That's all it is. Because people gonna take that and go crazy with it. Oh, well, Jordan, the accolades and all that. Well, they won more.
Right.
LeBron had to get more people. You know, it gets crazy with this. But it's a great analogy.
Right.
But it's just, it becomes style and preference.
And you could think about it like different CEOs. Like, if Steve Jobs wasn't Steve Jobs, would we have Apple and all of the great technology we all enjoy today? You know, sometimes I feel like some of these alpha male personalities do push things forward in a way that we all end up benefiting from. You know, look at Marcus Garvey. They said he was like that.
Sure indeed.
He had that alpha male type personality. Ended up hurting him in the long run because, you know, the UNIA was, you know, as they say, was built as a house of cards. So once they got rid of Garvey, the whole organization fell because he was like the strong leader, and that gave all, you know, he delegated all the tasks. Everybody else had to follow. But there was a lot of progress made with that, you know. So sometimes I feel like, you know, progress can be made with an alpha male that's maybe a little bit more dominant, or maybe on the toxic side. I'm pretty sure that if we think about it, there's more names of people who had that
toxic alpha male. That did some amazing things. You know? You can do some great. Look at America.
Yeah.
Look.
What's the purpose? What's the goal?
Right.
Even a broken clock is right at least 2 times a day.
Right.
So you're gonna be in scenarios and situations where aggression gets the job done.
Yes.
Shaka Zulu.
And if it's successful,
violence gets the job done.
There's a time and place. What is it Ecclesiastics that tells you it's a time and place for everything.
Right.
Okay.
So that's when we say somebody's dominant, it's like dominant how?
Right.
There's more than one way to be dominant. I've seen people who are you think of those movies where there's kingpins. They don't say nothing to nobody. They don't yell at people. They don't show any kind of physical aggression. But they rule things behind the scenes with such a tight grasp and can pull so many strings. They can have things done from other people carrying it out.
Godfather.
There's always different ways to go about being dominant or getting a certain task done. So what we just want our listeners to realize that, listen, do your strategically become aware of your surroundings and your situation and what the goal is, and find the best tools in the situation to get it done in an accountable way. I feel like that's the best person. If I had to make an alpha definition, it's the person who, they're more of a Swiss Army knife. They got enough of every little thing, or they can find a way to execute enough of whatever thing would help in any scenario or any situation. I don't think an alpha is somebody who's just, you're only super great or sharp when it comes to fighting. You'll dominate in that area, but life is gonna throw you more than just fighting.
Right.
I don't think it's just the intelligent recluse, because life's gonna throw more at you than just being in a laboratory or having a whiteboard or, you know, a blackboard, or having a white coat on. Life's gonna throw you all type of situations. So how do you handle these challenges as they come along?
Right.
So is alpha male even something that, is it even a thing where it's like, do we label it? Do we label people that we encounter with this with this title? I was speaking from more or less from a perspective of men who actually profess to be an alpha male.
No, I get you.
And I look at him and I'm like, bro, like, I'm being cynical. I'm like, I could tear you apart right now. And how much you are not an alpha male, because I always thought if you were an alpha male, you move from boyhood into manhood. And there's a lot of boys saying that they alpha males.
Right.
They love the idea of being the lone wolf. Clint Eastwood, you know what I mean? John Wayne's, you know what I'm saying? Everybody who's on some like Neo mentality. But you have to have that balance. I would say you'd have to have it, but I'm not saying you can't get the goal done by being violent. Not even saying you can't get the goal done by being hypocritical.
Right.
So alpha male.
Definitely a balance. I think you need to be aggressive, as you said. It's time and a place for that.
Definitely.
But you also got to know how to play well with others as well.
Co-leadership all the way through.
Maybe there's an area where you are strong. Stand up. Do what you got to do. Be responsible. Be accountable. Move things forward.
Lead and follow.
But that's not going to be the thing, you're not gonna be that for every situation. So I think a strong male, right, is somebody who could be a leader, but at the same time be a good soldier too. Somebody else is strong in another area. If your wife is strong in another area, she's bringing business. She has her own thoughts and good ideas of how to raise the family. You shouldn't be a man to say, oh no, it's my way or the highway. You know what I mean? That's toxic. You got to be able to listen to your counterpart, whether it be in a relationship or whether it be in a business, and say, okay, I like what you said. I have my own opinion, but let's ride with what you do, you know? I think that's what makes you a strong man, like you said, being that jackknife, because too many people try to be too bullish on things, and we've seen so many examples where it works, and yeah, you will get some wins, but what good is a win if nobody likes your ass? Shaka Zulu, he got wins when Europeans came over there and they said they wanted to take the land, and yeah, he stood up and he fought them, he chased them off. But he became so toxic that his own people ended up being the ones that killed him at the end because he was too toxic. All of that went to his head, and he felt like he became a tyrant, pretty much. Nobody likes a tyrant. Deep, man. It's deep. Mr. Moore, you got anything on this, man?
I just think about our ability to, and I think you might have hit it toward the end, but just our ability to duplicate ourselves and our ability to like put people in a place where we get, you know, and other, you know, our ancestors, they followed the lion, they studied the lion, they studied the wolf, they studied animals, and they seen how they move. It was like, oh, they step in when they need to, and then they let the peoples handle the rest.
Right.
So those pieces, I think we get back to that, and we study the earth and how it moves around us. Those are also things that I think about as I'm sitting here watching y'all. That's big.
I was watching something the other day. They were talking about lions, and everybody thinks that, like, you know, in the Lion King, it's the male lion that runs. Like, yeah, he's only dominant for a term. It's actually the pride that runs the pack. There's mad footage of the pride, the female lions killing off the once leader, kicking him out, the alpha male. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you know, a lot of times I think it's like I said, it's sexist, it's misogynistic, you know,
it's nature.
And you know, a lot of that comes from the Bible and shit too. You know? Institutions.
They define these things for you.
And men wrote it.
And men wrote it. Exactly.
All types of things, man. I can't even. That's where it gets too far for me, because I don't know. We didn't live in those times. We don't know who's solely responsible or what group is solely responsible for any of those things. Patriarchy, matriarchy, right? All those things. What if you were to go far? What if you went far back and you saw a community or civilization of people, and our division of labor, what we've come to know it today, may have been something that was decided by a matriarch ruler.
Right.
No, y'all gonna stay. No, we need order with this. We need to make this more organized. These group of people, they're gonna be gathering and be devoted more towards the village and the homes. And these groups of people are better suited to chase these animals and hunt and for war and for defense. This helps us grow and helps us build a community efficiently during these times. But times change. So who's to say that whoever's idea or groups of people idea did something that worked at that point in time, if we kept it going, the people who do it and live it now probably would never even credit that to coming from the mind of a matriarch.
Yeah. I think we have enough evidence in like the books that, like when you mentioned scripture, the Bible, you can talk about the Torah, you know what I'm saying? Talk about the Quran. All these books are influenced by other books, generations, thousands of years before such. You know what I mean? Tens of thousands of years of written word. And there's a lot of evidence that would say what we read now has been true for probably 100,000, 200,000 years. But I like what you're saying about like thinking about before. And it's not out of the realm to think that that was true, because if one can be, so can't the other. What we dealing with now.
Yep.
So here we are.
Meta history. What can we do now? What's proficient? What's efficient for how we live now?
So
right.
do y'all believe in gender roles? Like,
It can be valuable. I believe there's a season for all of that. You know, because when you come home, who's supposed to be cooking dinner? When you both come home from work, who's supposed to cook dinner?
right.
I'd rather have the person who can actually cook dinner.
Actually, absolutely. I don't believe in a priori gender roles.
Unless your house
Right.
says this is what we should do.
Right.
Personal plan.
Absolutely.
When it comes to a society
Right.
that comes from like a tyrant dictator to say this is what men are supposed to do,
Right.
this is what women are supposed to do. Men, this is your favorite color. Women, this is your favorite color. It's like, wait a minute, relax.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
This is what we're gonna do over here.
come on. I'm gonna tell you.
Because it's
Listen,
going to be different for everybody.
Yes.
it's
It's going to be
listen.
different for everybody.
It's culture. It's atmosphere. It's
Right.
environment.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you're in a situation, we living in the cold. If I'm better suited to have a higher temperature and I'm warmer, my body dictates for me to be able to build the house, get pelts together, do all physical labor to kind of supply this need. I'm gonna burn out if I'm doing that, and I'm cooking, and I'm watching the kids, and I'm doing this. I think people get lost into having a survival atmosphere and us falling into doing things that lift the burden off of one another for us to work in our specialty,
Right.
giving the situation
To be
and then
most efficient,
we
yeah.
package that and we throw it every point in time and in every situation. It's not going to be the same in every situation. So I believe in gender roles to the degree of it being influenced by what's that organization looking like, what's that society looking like, what's that culture and what's that atmosphere looking like, and that dictates what role's going to doing what. And if that's efficient, if it's successful for that particular thing, do it.
And though there are exceptions to every rule, I do believe, though, that there are some things that are better suited for men to do and are better suited for some things that are better suited for women to do.
Okay.
Like a woman may be more nurturing than a man, just instinctually. Like, she feels the urge. You ever see a woman with their child? Like,
Yeah, but that's
it's a lot
biology.
different. That's biology. So
That's
that's what I'm
biology.
saying. So that does influence some of the roles. You know what I mean? And not to say that a man can't be nurturing. Yeah, it happens all the time. But there's some things that I just feel like men are better suited. Like you said, physical labor. You know, we literally are physically stronger than women. You know, like, not to say a woman can't get out there and chop a tree down, but I'm sure if she had a husband that was a strapping, already built, biologically built man, he could probably chop the tree down a lot more efficiently. You know what I mean? Not to say that she couldn't.
Right. Because some men are kind of quote unquote built like women.
Right.
They don't have, like, some men are just bigger than other men physically.
True.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
True.
And if she's strong and strappy, she could chop that tree down.
100%.
What's the harmony? Like, what's the
Sure indeed.
how you
Right,
building
right,
the
exactly.
How are you building the how are you building the balance within any given situation to accomplish a goal and ensure survival?
There we
Right.
go.
If you can make that work, good. Whatever roles you finna put on that, all right, whatever.
Yes.
But if you start doing things that's counterproductive to those things in mind, I think we're gonna start having some issues.
And you can play yourself too, because you might be better at something than your partner is, but because of the gender role, you're not performing it, and they are, and it's dysfunctional all the way through.
Right.
That's why I had an issue with the alpha definition. I had the same problem with defining what it is to be masculine or what it is to be a man. You might have a particular talent for something that's aesthetic, that at this point in time we title that thing feminine. I think men, like, if we go to, and it depends on who's men, we can find certain cultures where it was masculine for their culture at a certain point in time, Victorian age or pre, wearing tights, wearing wigs, wearing makeup, things that in our time we associate with being ultra feminine.
Right.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It gets too tricky, especially with people who don't know history and can't differentiate between different cultures and different groups of people. So it's like, you got to get with some people who have the same definitions of these things as you.
Right.
And
That's
have
it.
respect for people who, all right, they have a community or a circle there where they define things a certain way and it works for them over there. If you can find some type of bridge of harmony, cool. I'm with that.
Right.
I think civilized people can do that.
Civilized people. That's
Go
right.
indeed.
Trying to find the most efficient way to live and thrive.
If you like gender roles and there's a community there of people, go ahead and do it. Like your household is your community. You know what I mean? So we should be
That's a fact.
extending that bridge of respect and minding your business. Like, yo, I'm gonna mind my business. I respect you and I'm gonna mind my business. This is me. This is my cipher right here. I'm taking care of mine. If you have a gender role specific thing over there, do your thing. What happened?
So
Oh, here we go.
That's something. He
There we
got
go.
something. He got that look in his eye.
Yeah,
He got that look.
he
so
got that
if a
wrench.
woman is very masculine, right?
What's that mean?
She's very she's strong, she's bold, she does things that are usually associated with what men do
Okay,
biologically.
got you.
And she says that I don't want to be referred to as a woman. I want to be referred to as a man. Y'all want to go down this road, or is this a whole other show?
I mean, that's a lot. But we can. I mean, we can go.
We can touch on it.
We can touch on it. I'm trying to pick up what you putting down.
I'll keep it as simple as this. Whatever you want to be called, then go ahead and call yourself that. But in regular conversation, in societal norms of just courtesy, as for the conversation,
Hot water.
I'm going to call you a
normal?
woman. If you
What's
are,
normal?
what's normal? What's normal?
What's normal?
Uh,
They were always like this. That's
Yeah.
normal to them.
well, you started off by saying if a woman, you called her a woman. Why? Because it's normal to call her a woman because of the obvious things that it's just a word that separates them biologically. From us.
biologically.
Yes, that's
Okay.
it. Only because it's a made up word. You know, I guess every word is made up, but in general, this is the title that they have. And if they're not okay with that title, then go ahead and change it, and I'll use whatever title you like. If it's man, cool. I will call you a man, but in general, so we can discuss in a conversation and make it obvious about what you are and what I am, so we know our differences. You're a woman and I'm a man.
So, do you feel like that's disrespectful? Being a biological man, if a woman said, "Hey, I want to be called a man," but
What makes you a man?
biologically, you have the biology of a woman,
Right.
is that, I hear this conversation, Chappelle talked about this with women who, I forgot the name they call it, but women who don't like men who want to be called as women, acting as women, and wanting to be called women, when women feel like, hey, I have a period, I have to go through child labor, there are things that define me as a woman, and you are biologically a man, but now you want me to call you a woman. Do they have the right to be offended?
I would say so, yeah, because they didn't go through the oppression that women go through. Maybe not all women, but in general, when I have many friends who are women, female, and I have daughters, and I have many conversations, and I'm like, do you feel unsafe on an elevator with a man? Yeah, I do. Why? Because that's society. That's how they perceive it. And they've been insulted verbally before. They've been assaulted verbally before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do you want to call like you said, when they're masculine, if they want to be called a man, that's a whole nother subject and movement. You know what I mean? But I know that a man who wants to now be called a woman, they've never been through what a woman goes through in society.
But see, that's the thing. Like, it's complex for me because
gets
I
very
thought the irony. I thought something that was very profound, because I almost think it's almost privilege for you to be a male and then
Want to be something
be
else.
woman of the year. Do certain things,
Yeah.
spend a certain amount of money, have a certain level of class, and be recognized as woman of the year.
And just move all past that oppression, all past that.
Yeah, only because of what you look like aesthetically. Almost
Right.
as if that's all it means. That's all it takes to be a woman.
That
it's
right there.
almost a smack in the face as far as that's a privilege to me. Me, and I might say some things that might make people uncomfortable. So I'm trying to apologize for it beforehand, but I can't really. I think it made more sense to me when we stuck with biological terms and then sociological terms. Because to me, male and female indicates biology. When you start talking about man and woman, that's when we get figurative, because what does it take to make you a man? Somebody could say you doing hair is not manly.
Right.
Don't take away from you being a male though, what you were born as biologically, but then that might disrespect people because they don't agree on that language when it comes to biology, or they don't think biology should determine who you are when it comes to society. So it's always, when we talk about these things, we never gonna all be in consensus.
Right.
That's the thing. That's what causes the division and have everybody fighting one another, because we never gonna agree on which way to go on any particular thing. But I think it made more sense to me, and I'm taking this on me because I can only speak for myself, can't speak for no other group. It made more sense to me, male and female biologically, you set your own terms for what it means to be a man or a woman. I can't dictate that. I can't tell you, Sess, oh, you trying to be a man, you doing it wrong. You need to puff your chest out a little bit more. You need to go play football. If somebody step on your shoe, you need to go get your gun out the trunk of the car and blast their face, because you an alpha man. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you a man.
Again.
That's my definition of men. I probably done been beat by men in my house. I done went through things that made me figure out what I needed to define a man as. That should be separate than what your biology is.
100%.
So that's just my spiel on
100%.
it. But
Just
listen, if
regular.
you call yourself what you want to be called, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree.
Call yourself what you want to be called, but I think you're gonna run into certain issues. It's like the thing with the athletics. It's like the thing with the athletics.
Right. That's why.
Now-
I was about to go all right there. Go ahead.
But it's a real thing. There are females / could be women being murdered by people who got the biology of a male / could be man in athletics, because you're trying to make this egalitarian platform where the ability is not the same. People getting killed in athletics, MMA type of stuff like that, and then I think that's a privilege again. If you got a certain physical makeup, you couldn't compete with other people who have close or similar physical makeup to compete fairly. So then you hopped into a different platform where you got an advantage. And now you can just call yourself a different name, and now you can dominate. I think that's a cop-out.
It is.
But
That's 100%
I think it's a
cop-out.
cop-out. But
Yes.
then when the politics get involved and we start talking about, equal rights and considering me as this, I have no machinery. I have nothing that I can put over your heart to determine how genuine you are when you say these things. I can't measure your character. So I don't know if that's a real thing where it's coming from, or if you're just using it to exploit a certain thing.
We could take it to a Rachel Dolezal.
Right. Yeah.
Transracial.
Right.
Transracial.
Right.
I'm with it.
What are the facts? You put a mask on and you're Michael Myers? Is that true?
Right.
You know what I mean? Halloween's once a year, but people want to do it every day.
A clear example of somebody who is clearly exploiting a certain thing, but then on the other
And lying.
token, it's real, because black and white don't exist. You see what I'm saying? Like, it don't exist, but then
exactly.
within our societal mainframe, we start talking about culture and institution.
Right.
It means something when you call yourself these things.
Yes.
And we're human beings, so we have the ability to manipulate and exploit. If I know how a system works, I can start doing things within a system to get me certain advantages. And you'll never know if I'm being genuine about it, or if I'm just a mouthpiece making it seem like it's a civil rights issue when it may just be my own selfish gain.
Right.
You don't know those things. So
Again, to call yourself something, you would presume that you go through everything that whatever you yourself are calling yourself has went through. So if you're saying you brought up that lady Rachel, she said she was a black woman. Well, did you go through everything that black women go through? Are your ancestors sharing the same experience? No, they're not. You can be a part of the culture, but let people know who you are off the bat up front. You can definitely share the visual of such, maybe not on the skin level, but you can participate in music, culturally. You can even have certain styles, but listen.
Let me touch on something real quick. I don't want to interrupt you, but
please.
I think it's very insightful.
Jump in.
and follow me because I'm going somewhere with this. I don't want it to be too much of a tangent. I used to be up at college, and students would come up from the city area, and they would come to the Black Student Union, Black Student Association, our different student groups, and I would get mad at them, or they might be the Caribbean or something like that. I would get mad at them when they told me, oh, I never experienced racism. I get mad at them because I feel like because they look like me, it automatically made them like, it automatically signed them up to the experience because I just assume that we all have the same experiences because of how we look.
Right.
Now, for the most part, some could say that's true, but in some instances, and it might be an exception to the rule, that may not be so.
Right.
So it's too much gray area where a person like that, Rachel Dolezal, could just say, hey, ever since I was born, I felt like I was this. But then the question has to be asked, like you were indicating, well, what does that mean in the scope of what it means to be black? How you felt.
Right.
What does that mean when it comes to defining what a black person is?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just throwing braids in your hair?
Right.
Is it wearing knockers? Is it talking a certain way?
Right.
It gives
Adapting
credence
to a culture.
It gives credence to a deeper conversation on what it tells me more about what you think than
Yes.
necessarily what it is.
In this time and
Right.
place of what she thinks black people are.
100%.
That's why I said, did your ancestors have the same exact experience? Your ancestors evolved and then came into you? No, you chose to deviate and go a whole nother direction. And to take on somebody else's ancestry, that's blasphemous.
But if you go far enough back,
Yeah.
we're gonna say that you got the same ancestors.
That's
You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's
yeah,
it's a paradigm. Like
Yeah.
what we going with? What we doing here?
right.
and
Yeah.
that's why we need this metaverse to come through
Yeah.
so we can all just be an avatar.
I guess if it wasn't like
Because
really an
once
issue,
it don't matter. You can be whatever you want in
right?
the metaverse.
In the metaverse, you could be whatever you want, but not
Whatever
here.
you want.
Because if it wasn't really an issue for her to be who she's saying she is, people wouldn't be having a problem with it. Women wouldn't be having a problem with men who want to be women, and black women wouldn't have a problem with white women trying to be black.
Ooh,
Metaverse take
Ooh.
care of all this.
we got to come back to that.
But yo, hour and 37 in, great episode, great episode.
Time flies.
Yeah,
I think it's time for us to wrap this joint up. Once again, family, please like, comment, subscribe,
Ring the bell.
ring the bell.
Word of mouth. Tell your family. Tell your friends.
If there's anything that resonated with you, or if you have a point to make off of something that we said, please leave it in there. We would love to continue this discussion offline. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all
That's
check
right.
us out next week. Shout outs to Mr. More Than Vision once again behind the cameras.
big up.
Up. And look out for all the great things that's coming.
Yeah. What happened to peace?
Peace.
Peace.
Straight up.
Much love.